said what a great job they did with a particular video. The video was actually created at our middle school. We have a feeder middle school, Buckhorn Middle School. They have it's a newer school, and they have a new elective this year, and it was broadcasting was the elective. Well, they don't have broadcasting equipment yet. So we worked out a plan where second period, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they bus their students about 4 miles down the road to our school, and they came into our broadcast room and practiced with our broadcasting equipment. In turn, I met with the teacher and the students and did a brainstorming session, and that's their creation. So again, I have nothing to do with it except for I asked them to do it. So it's, again, finding good people. Here's the timeline that we did with our reflective process. 2010, I came to the National Blue Ribbon Conference like you're doing, saying, I want this award. I want it for our school. I want this prize. And I left the conference realizing that it's not just the prize, but it's the entire process of making our school better is what we really need to do. I went back and met with our staff, talked to them a little bit with our leadership team. In February 2011, our leadership team agreed that they wanted to do it. Some of the things that we talked about, they're like, well, why are we buying this award? I'm like, well, we're not buying an award. You know, we're buying an evaluation. So we try to use that terminology. Again, you're paying for an evaluation for the system, for them to come to evaluate you, to give you information on what you're doing well and what you need to improve on. For us, we talk about the why. The why for Newmarket, and we'll get into a little bit deeper in the next slide, but it was about making us better, doing a better job for children. March of 2011, we took a group down to Owens Crossroads. Owens Crossroads is kind of on the end of the county for us, but we took the team, and our leadership team originally was 5 or 6 people. We moved it up to 9. And the reason we did 9 is I wanted to have, each person was going to be a chairperson for the 9 criteria. And that's kind of how we started. We took that group down. Now, when you went to Newmarket School before we visited Owens Crossroads, it was a former high school, then a former middle school, and it still looked like a middle school. White walls, or battleship gray walls, top to bottom. You know, there wasn't a lot of students. Well, there's some teachers, you know, put a couple things outside, but there wasn't a lot of print-rich. You know, it was not a print-rich environment outside of the classroom. Now, if you walk into classrooms, different story. But if you walk down the halls, you didn't see those types of things. When we got back from Owens Crossroads, and Owens is such a dynamic place, very enthusiastic, very child-friendly, child-centered, our teachers were so excited that I believe we visited on a Tuesday or Wednesday. By that Friday, there was all kinds of student work out in the hallway. Hey, you got to try this. They were telling their friends, telling their peers, and they're the ones who brought that enthusiasm back and got it started. April 2011, we formed our 9 committees. Now, how we did it at Newmarket, we had our chairs, and when I sat down with the 9 billing leadership chairs, I asked them, which criteria do you want to chair? So I let them pick, and we actually worked it out. They talked back and forth, so they each picked one. I said, do not tell anybody who you're the chair of, what category. We had a staff meeting the next day, and we basically put up the names of each criteria, places for them to sign up around the room. And then we used playing cards, a deck of cards, and they had to draw high to low. The highest one got to go first, and worked our way, just kind of do a random drawing, so it was fair for everybody to get to choose. The one criteria for signing up for your committee, you could not sign up for the same committee as another grade level peer. Because what I did not want is I did not want all of our second grade teachers being on this committee and all of our third graders on this, so they kind of split it up. This was everybody. This was our assistants, this was our office staff, everybody was on a committee. May 2011, after we had the committees, what we set up is instead of having monthly staff meetings, we had monthly blue ribbon meetings. And what that meant is if you were a chair of a committee, sometime during that week, and we sent out, a lot of our principals around the country sent out a newsletter on a weekly basis. On that newsletter, it basically had the month information, and it said blue ribbon meetings this week. It didn't matter what time or what day you met that week, but your committee needed to meet that week about your blue ribbon activities and what was going on in your particular criteria. What our staff did, and I passed a couple of them around. If you're done looking at them, we kind of just pass them around. We brought a couple of the data notebooks. The white ones are the ones from Newmarket. What we thought would be important for us is to create the portfolio. Again, this is not part of the blue ribbon process. It was part of our reflective process. for us to get data together and say, hey, we're doing these type of things in this particular criteria, but we're not doing this. So what can we find? The neat thing about this for me as an administrator was we had members of each committee, technology committee, they'd be like, hey, I know you did that PowerPoint presentation the other day. Hey, will you send me a copy of that so I can put it in our book? And it was that type of communication among our staff that was great. They were the ones reflecting on what we were doing well and what we needed to improve on. So that was something that was very beneficial. December 2011, we had 2 staff members come back. Our assistant principal and a kindergarten teacher came back to the conference, brought a couple other ideas. Let me jump back up to the 2010 thing. When I came back, 2 of the things I brought back, one, I went to the Disney Leadership Institute, and I brought back that timeline. When Abby was showing her little timeline, that is what I brought back from that they have in the Utilidor, something similar to that with Disney, with the history of Disney. We thought for our school it was going to be important to have show the history of our school because we have so many of those community members coming back to visit our school. So that's where we got that idea. The second idea was the Watchdogs program. Dads are great students, and I believe there was a group in Pennsylvania that was doing it and did a presentation that year at the conference. We took that idea, contacted that national group, and now we have the Watchdog programs in our school. And that has been a huge hit, having dads coming in and spending it. We do it a half day or a full day, and they're just completely impressed. And it's just a great opportunity to communicate with parents on what students really are doing in school. You know, it's a lot different than when you were in school or we were in school. In January, one of the things that we kept working on was trying to come up with a new theme. You know, typically each year we do a different theme. We did one on playing games. So each grade level decorated their doors as a different board game. And we decided we wanted to do something that was going to stay. We were going to keep around for a while. So we kept going through different opportunities, which I'm going to show you a little bit, and we chose One World, Many Stories, and that was kind of the basis of literature behind the changes, the aesthetic changes at Newmarket School. In 2012, in May, we had our Blue Ribbon visit. We were shortly thereafter, we earned the Lighthouse designation, and beginning in June, we started our improvement process. We basically have 12 points for our improvement, and we're kind of working on those. It's working on STEM information. We have a time between 7:25 and 8 o'clock where we have students just coming in, eating breakfast. We're trying to use that for actually instructional time. So things like that that Marcia and Bart were able to give to us, again, to help us improve and continue that improvement. Reflection process, the 9 categories. The ones we have in red were the ones that we realized that we need to do a lot of work on. School organization and culture. It's good when we looked at it, but again, the culture piece being the visual culture piece is something we really, really wanted to enhance and work on. Look at the technology integration. We were Title I school. When I arrived, we have all kinds of technology, but teachers didn't know how to use it. So what we've done since then is we've incorporated different workshops, and I usually call them 101, 201, 301, 401. So we do an ongoing set of workshops. We made sure everybody had an Interact board or smart board, whichever brand you choose, Promethean board. And then we did Interact 101, 201. 101 was in August, 201 was September, 301 was October. You get the idea. This year, we have iPads in the classrooms, and we did the training at the beginning of the school year. Again, August, September, October, November, 101 through 401. This, again, to give teachers an opportunity to work together to understand how to use the technology. Professional community, again, just working on those groups. And school, family, community partnerships. This was a big one. We had a lot of parent support, meaning you call a parent, they're going to help you out. But it was a big cultural shift to have parents coming into our building and helping out, you know, having parent volunteers. One of the things when you see the pictures, we did a mailbox decorating party. And each teacher was given a mailbox. We got together, and have you guys ever heard of the Cricket?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, well, my assistant principal, she wanted to buy a Cricket, and I'm like, why in the world do we want these things? We have these wonderful stamps out there, you know, the die cuts, come on.
Yeah.
We got them, why do we need that? Well, she's like, let's just get one. I was like, okay, get one as long as we use it. Well, when you see the pictures, we have used it all over the entire school. Inside, outside, on top, on the bottom, everywhere. So that was one of the things that we looked at. With the decorating party, we used the Cricket. They have their names on it. They decorate their mailbox. And in each mailbox, you'll see a yellow folder. That yellow folder is the parent volunteer folder. So we have parent volunteers coming in several times throughout the week, and they don't interrupt your class. They basically will pick up your folder. If there's something in it, if you need something cut, colored, copied, whatever, laminated, you put it in there with a little note. They will take care of it, put it back in your box. Just those little things to help out. And that's how we started getting parents involved in the Watchdog program, for some things that we've done. We looked at our mission statement. And one thing I love to ask people when they come to these statements, and I want you to see if you can do it right now. Take 1 minute and see if you can write the mission of your school down on a piece of paper.
We've changed it 4 times in the first 4 years I was there. We changed it every single year.
Oh my goodness.
I teach a leadership course for Stanford University out of Birmingham, and this is one of the things I usually ask our students to do as teachers. And I think I've had one person in the entire 4 classes that I've taught be able to do this, write down their mission statement. So what we talked about is if you have a mission statement, and here's the old mission statement we have. If you have a mission statement and you don't know what it is, why do you have a mission statement? It's just words on the wall. So what we decided to do is we wanted to make it simple. We wanted to make it easy, but something that we could follow. And ours is explore today to discover tomorrow. Our students know that if you ask a student at Newmarket School what is the mission statement, they will be able to tell you. And again, we think that's important because they need to understand that we're trying to explore, trying to show them how to grow so that they can learn tomorrow. Again, explore today to discover tomorrow. And you can see some of the decorations. It is in every building that we have, so we want to make sure students know what it is and see it.